field. Gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick in, here it comes. Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
My approval ratings keep going up.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Welcome in, Defeating the Curse. We are live. It's a Monday show. This one should be good. LP is in the house. FP is in the house. It's good to see you boys. The Commanders go to New England, and they do something that I think two of the three of us expected them to do, which was win the game. It was not pretty. We can talk about Sam and the just terrible interception. He's still developing, and I think he deserves some credit and some grace here with regards to growing pains. It's the first game also for the defense without two first-round picks being on the field for them, and drafted a couple years back now. I actually didn't get a chance to look at Sweat's box score, but I will do that here while we're talking. But overall, the Commanders, I mean, they had to get this win. I saw the big zero there, FB. They had to get this win. They did it. My biggest takeaway, besides there was a lot of who wore it best shtick online yesterday between Belichick and Ron with the hands folded on the sideline, just kind of pacing up and down. My biggest takeaway was I don't want either of these guys here next season. That's like the one thing for me is I don't want Billy B here. I know his boy just got fired again with the Raiders, and we got to talk about Antonio Pierce. I was so excited to see him get a shot. And this just I mean, as dysfunctional as the Skins, Commanders, whatever can be at times, the Raiders are so much worse. They are so much worse, basically, in almost every facet. But let's talk about this game a little bit. LP, I know Stevie told us he watched exactly 0 minutes of this game, and I'm not surprised. I was actually planning to not watch a lot of it in real time. Things happened, and I ended up at home and able to watch, and I watched pretty much the whole thing in real time. It's a very rare thing for me to be able to watch it start to finish without, just commercial breaks, basically. They did some things well. They did some things not well. For me, I think Howell looks as good as I could have ever dreamed, to be very honest, about a guy basically with 10 games under his belt at this point. He leads the league in passing attempts, I believe. He leads the league in passing yards, I believe. So I don't know. What's your big takeaway from this game? I mean, they had to win this, and it's not surprising that they did. I don't know. Well, where do you point and say
it was still in Foxborough, right? Like, the Patriots are not a good team, but it was still in Foxborough. They still have a decent defense, and as horrible as Belichick is, he's probably still a better coach than Ron. Agree. Don't want any of them here. Nowhere near Washington, but he's still probably a better coach than Ron. The offense put up 400-plus yards. Howell was over 200 at half. He had a good game. Like, the pick was awful. I mean, you throw that pick in the red zone at the worst time of the game, like that was horrendous. Like, and he owned it. He said, "I need to throw that ball away." Apparently, he was trying to throw it away, but just fluked on it. And the defense, we lost two of our probably top 5 players on defense, maybe 7 players, and the defense looked exactly the same. The defense still stinks. 0 sacks, but there was a lot of pressure, and we got to talk about KJ Henry. That was not a dirty play. It
was not a dirty play.
That was as clean as a sack as you can get.
That was the whole 9, and he got it taken away, and that sucks.
That was going to be his first sack of his NFL career,
yes.
And yes. He did not jump on the guy either. Like, he laid him down gracefully. The NFL
not just a sack, but a sack fumble. It would have been a huge momentum shift.
And to your point, LP, like when you watch the reverse angle on it, like his leg, KJ's leg hits the ground too. It's not like he pancaked the guy. He didn't pancake Mac Jones. Like, he tried to not like fall on him. It was just a bad call all around. The NFL's got to fix this. But they also, I understand the flip side of it too. They're putting this repeated emphasis on calling it correctly, even if it's blatantly not what it's supposed to be. I don't know. It's just a bad call.
It depends on the team and the quarterback, though.
I think you're very right about that, FP. But I mean, you were very critical. I listened to the midweek show you boys did about regarding Montez and Chase being shipped out for not enough, in my opinion. I think you guys were a little bit more bullish, or I wasn't thrilled about what they got in return for Chase or for Montez. And I'm not surprised that the Bears extended Montez, but we can talk about that in a second. But FP, you're watching this defense yesterday. Was there a noticeable? I mean, there definitely wasn't a fall off. I mean, they're averaging less points given up right now without those guys than they were. And obviously, it's a one game sample size, whatever.
And it's a Mac Jones led Patriots.
Sure,
Team.
but the defense didn't look schematically that different to me.
No, I think. I mean, we all know JDR. He's not going to change his game plan from week to week. But yeah, the defense didn't have a terrible fall off. I mean, Hill didn't do bad. JSW. I mean, honestly, JSW had the heads up play of the game where he sat down injured and allowed Ron the chance to challenge.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Are we all just going to accept? Like, I know what I saw, and that's certainly what I think I saw.
That's 100% what you saw.
All right.
And
he was basically signaling Ron, "Hey, dummy, do something. I'm gonna flop around over here for a little bit."
100%. That was heads up football. LP called it on the spot the second JSW went down. It's exactly what happened. And there's another conversation to have for another time that Ron needed a player to do that. But
I think that's the conversation.
Well, it's going around the NFL.
He holds his challenges and his timeouts as if he can carry them from game to game. Like I don't understand. Like they've got to get someone on the staff just to be in.
They have someone on the staff,
and they need another person. And
Ron just doesn't put his cough drop in fast enough to. Challenge.
I mean, he moves like molasses. But if that's truly what happened, I mean,
100% what happened. They'll never admit it.
Well,
see it. I mean, JSW was on the sideline totally fine the second the challenge flag got thrown, and he was in the next play. Right? Like.
The rules are probably going to change on that. I forget what game it was a couple weeks ago, but there was a coach yelling, "Get down, get down, get down" to one of the players, right?
Chargers.
I think it was it Chargers game?
Chargers.
Yeah. That rule is probably going to change in the offseason. The tush push is going to change. The
tush push is fine. It's fine. It's a football. What's the problem? I don't know why people are
so called the QB sneak. You just have to get a QB that can squat.
What's interesting is the Eagles are now running plays out of it. Like they did it last week and they did it again last night. They had one play that basically was where did I see it? It was like a double handoff or something. I don't know what I saw, but like I don't know on what grounds you would say the tush push is not a legal play. It's totally legal. It's a quarterback sneak with a little extra emphasis.
Yeah, I mean
it is legal, but I'm just saying they're going to change the rules and it'll be illegal. I mean the NFL's done it so many times. Who was it that got concussed on the tush push? It was another team.
On what grounds would you object to the play or say that it's illegal? Why is it? Why would it?
They're going to say it's dangerous.
No.
I mean,
no.
It's a play that moves
don't think it's
1 yard at very slow speed.
I don't think we're going to see the tush push take off the way the Wildcat did because they don't like. You need a certain type of personnel.
Can we as DC fans not call it the tush push? It's a QB sneak. We don't have to dress it up and be
brotherly shove.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the quarterback sneak.
Philly fans being Philly. It's
big fatties just pushing them forward. It's fine.
Well, it's also changed a lot too because originally, like someone was behind Hurts actually pushing Hurts. Now that doesn't happen. I mean, it's Hurts on himself and it's the lineman going low.
But give him credit too. He squats like 700 pounds. Right? It's the video they want me to see.
It's changed because we don't have QBs that are built like Peyton Manning anymore.
I mean, our QB's not built like our QB here. Howell is like 5'7" or 5'8" or whatever. He's not that big. 5'9". He's 6 feet. I know. Like, but
he's got a lot of muscle on his lower half of his body. He's not RG3 knees.
He's not 6'7", right? He can't necessarily always see over the offensive line, and the offensive line. That's another I think point that we would be remiss not to at least talk about the improvement on the O line. They're less leaky, right? I think the Paul, the Chris Paul, like they've got to stay.
Larson coming in for Nick Gates is the move that Ron needs to start his run. Every year, there's one personnel change, and then Ron starts his run.
Are you full on conspiracy theory though? Like he did this on purpose?
No. He didn't do it on purpose. He's truly an idiot.
He's dumb.
He is a bad talent evaluator. He did nothing on purpose. He just has old dad syndrome where he thinks he's making the smartest move in the room, and he's the last to admit he was wrong.
Yeah.
So
Unless the
you
media
guys know,
he,
you guys
he's
know that Ron is 9-1 in November as a
insane,
Commanders head coach.
insane stat.
I don't want to.
It's happening. We're going to go on a run, and it's going to be a fake run.
So
Come
we
December, we're going to
upset
crash
the
down.
Seahawks.
I mean,
And hey, guess what our record against the Seahawks all time is in Seattle?
But 12-2.
no.
It's
I
like
don't
7-1 or 8-1.
Really?
Outside of the playoffs, in the regular season, we're
I
like
feel like the
8-1 or
Seahawks
7-1.
always had our number going back to like the early 2000s with the.
That's always in Washington. That's in Washington.
Yeah, I think it was the 06 playoff
Well, it's
run.
true because when we went there, that's the game where like Trent Williams punched the guy or whatever.
Yeah.
We come
And you
in.
remember there was a Josh Doxson, like his only game he ever
Oh,
did
true.
anything in the
That's
NFL was in Seattle.
That's
There
true.
was the Kirk Cousins game in Seattle.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's early, but I'm scared of this game, and I don't think we have the defensive personnel to stop all of the offensive wide receivers in particular of Seattle.
I was telling LP, if you put Forbes on DK Metcalf and repeat him versus AJ Brown,
Hey, and
essentially,
what is this?
essentially the same thing.
Your guy was doing.
Yeah, I don't know
What
what's the little.
is he tweeting? Is he chirping? Is that what that is?
I
don't know
have
what
no
that is.
idea,
Someone needs to
yeah.
ask him. Someone needs to ask him. But
He was also ripping BSJ's lockdown celebration as well. The guy's all over the place.
I mean, I'm never a fan of peacocking. You still got to know, like, hey, you're still on a losing team. Like you're 4-5. You were benched for a week, and
But
you got lit up.
Right?
I fine. Like some of it's
Players have to
branding.
hype themselves up and get into the game.
But since actually now that you got me on it, like the running to the end zone to celebrate as a team thing, that has to stop too. Like I'm not a fan of that.
If it's as a team, I'm all for it.
No, I don't like it. I think it's dumb.
I'm all for camaraderie. If you do something,
I want you to
good
save your energy
on the
so you can make a
football
tackle.
field.
So don't run 60 yards to the end zone to post.
No. I don't agree with you on that one. Now you're just being a.
No, we're not good. You're not good.
Old curmudgeon.
You're not good enough for that.
You're being a boomer.
I want to go
about that.
I want to go back to the box score here for a second. Howell throws the ball 45 times, 325. LP talked about that already. I want to talk about Brian Robinson and Antonio Gibson for just a second. It's probably Gibson's best game of the season. Maybe not statistically, but he looked. But the Broncos game, maybe he better statistically, but he had 6 straight up carries, average 6 yards a carry, just under it. He looked good. Robinson, the fumble was tough, but he did something on the side, after it was recovered. Did you see him pounding the ground? Like he was upset. Yeah. He was upset with himself. Like he knows. Like I actually really appreciate that type of emotion when a player kind of lets you see they're upset with themselves. But he went, I think 63 yards. He had that touchdown. He looked good, right? He looked serviceable, right? Like I think he continues to kind of be that guy he's gonna just fall forward for 4 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards consistently. And then let's talk about these receivers too. The standout for me was probably Jahan. I think his routes look good. There's less drops, I guess, but his routes look good. Terry continues to be that guy. I'm really struggling to see Terry as a legit stud number one. And I don't know why, but I keep having this thought in my mind that he reminds me of Ocho Cinco. And I don't know how to get that out of my brain, but that's who he reminds me of. Like a guy who can, in spots, makes the amazing play. But you can't just put him out there like an AJ Brown and just say, hey, go do it. And he's going to get it done every time. I don't know if that's a fair comparison or not, but that's the guy that for me, he keeps coming.
No, I think he's on the top end, the elite side of receivers. I think a lot of it has to do with scheme, and a lot of it also has to do with having established wide receiver twos and kind of more depth, right? So Dotson's good, but Dotson isn't feared as much as some of the other wide receiver twos in the league. So there's no real need to not focus all your energy on Terry. And then you have people like Crowder came in, he did great for Curtis Samuel, which is amazing because he's 85 years old. And then we featured Pringle. He had a couple of really good catches, and he kind of showcased his Kansas City magic of scramble drill that he used to do with Howell. He does it with, or that he used to do with Mahomes. He did with Howell,
Yes.
and that saved us a few times yesterday. It was nice to see Howell spreading the ball around, but I think if it ever comes down to it from scheme and matchup and what the defense does, I think Terry could take over a game. We've seen Terry take over a game. He has that ability. It's a lot of it's scheming.
But he doesn't take over the way like you can't. He's not like a Tyreek Hill, right? He may have similar speed, but he's never in a position to catch the ball, juke left, juke right, and then just blow past the bunch.
But
that's not his skill set.
Yeah, you need to watch those Miami games because Tyreek, he'll have 2 or 3 flashy plays, and his speed makes it the highlight reel. But he's the same receiver, right? Like he's just being schemed open better. And as we could see the last 2 weeks, Bieniemy has gotten better at scheming. I think his
play calling has improved as he's gotten more reps with the team. But I would also like to see a couple more like focus target plays, like focus and target Terry and Jahan. Like De'Ami Brown is a nice piece, but he shouldn't be getting 4 or 5 looks in this offense on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah,
why not though? Why not? Because that is one thing that this offense is doing.
Anytime I see De'Ami check into the game, I know he's running a go route, like every single time. Yeah,
but you need that though.
Yeah.
Well, then put him out there as a decoy, right? And run Terry in a shallow slant or something underneath it. Like do some other thing to get. Like,
yeah, I mean the question is what is Howell seeing at the time?
The ball in this offense is spread around, right? In a Scott Turner offense, it was Terry, right? And sure, he got his numbers. He looked dominant because he's better than most DBs and can beat them one-on-one. But 7 players caught multiple balls yesterday. Nine unique players caught a ball. I mean, that doesn't happen under Scott Turner offense. We had 900 yards of offense over 2 games.
Hold on. Terry, Jahan, Gibson is 3. De'Ami, Logan is 4-5. Crowder,
Bates, Robinson.
Oh yeah, Bates had a lot. Yeah, that's the one. That's the outlier.
Logan Thomas. Yeah,
he stinks too. I'm done with Logan. I'm done with the Logan Thomas experiment. I need a real tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
probably more of a tight end too.
Guy from Iowa.
He's not going to be the next great like Redskin football team tight end, right? Like he's not. I'm trying to think back here. Like Cooley.
He's not Cooley or Fred Davis.
Jordan Reed. Like these. Like he's not those guys.
No,
he's not those guys. Bless you. Yeah, I think I'm done with the Logan Thomas experiment too. But
he's also never come back from his he's not the same person he was pre-injury.
Yeah, I mean
you can see that.
If all you're asking him to do is run 6 yards, turn, catch the ball, I mean, he's serviceable for that, right? But he's not going to stretch that center. I think they used Gibson really effectively yesterday. I mean, that's.
I really liked how they used Gibson yesterday, and more so, I liked you almost saw a more aggressive run style from Gibson. The scary part is he's very prone to losing the football when he does run that aggressive. So.
Yeah. Yes.
It was scary looking yesterday a couple times.
He was playing for something yesterday. And you could see that.
I agree with you on that too. The 2 names that I was expecting to hear called out a little bit more on defense that weren't called very much at all were Allen and Payne. I mean, I think they had good games. I mean, just watching it, I haven't watched it back a second time through just yet. But I think Allen had 1 solo tackle and Payne maybe had 2 or 3 assists, right? But they were involved, but I was expecting a little bit more pressure, and I don't really know how to quantify, the addition by subtraction kind of methodology that everybody was talking about. Like now with Sweat and Chase gone, what do you expect is going to happen? They're going to double team the guys in the center a whole lot more. I mean, that's effectively what did happen. So I think Chase, we'll see. I mean, obviously the 49ers aren't playing this week, but with Sweat, did you boys follow the Sweat move at all, like as far as like from a statistical perspective? FP put up a donut.
I think we checked it. I think he had
1 pass defense. He had 2 tackles, 1 solo.
But his win rate, what I saw this morning, I do not encourage anyone to go into Chicago Bears Twitter, but if you do, they were really hyped up over his win rate. He was like the highest win rate for a defensive end yesterday, right? And which is consistent with what we saw from him here too.
Yeah, I literally told FP this when we were watching the game. I said these ends are not winning as much as Chase and Sweat were, but what you saw last week was Chase winning a lot and then leaving that area open for a gap, right? And the quarterback just sweeping right into that area that Chase was supposed to be at.
Win rate means nothing to me.
He almost got to the quarterback and then
almost
created a hole.
Quarterback also means nothing to me, right? Jamin Davis getting burned every freaking play. Like I was telling FP yesterday. I saw FP at church, right? And I was like, hey, I think Jamin Davis is going to sneak down and play defensive end. Like they're going to put him on the line. Like Gron's going to do something bananas, right? To try to utilize that speed a little bit more. That didn't happen. Every time I paid it, I was locked in. Every time I look for 52 on the field, he's chasing someone. Like he's consistently not in the correct position. And that's kind of wild. The
long touchdown run was on him, 100% on him.
Yeah.
He had a horrible angle.
He took the shallow cross instead of a deep cross.
No, the run. The run up the middle. Yeah, and he hit the wrong hole.
Right. Yeah.
And they asked, the Junkies asked John Allen about that this morning, and you could tell he didn't want to say it, but it was, Jamin hit the wrong hole. He said between the defensive line and the linebackers, we had wrong gaps or something like that.
Yeah.
There's only one linebacker.
There's only one linebacker. That's correct. But look, listen, they improved to 4-5. They have a tough road game against the Seahawks. I think it's too early. What's your early tingle on this one, FP? A win or loss?
Seahawks?
Yeah.
I mean, they're a solid team, but they also got completely owned by the Ravens. But then again, the Ravens have the ability to completely own any team that people think.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about the Ravens in a second. But what's your early tingle on this one? Win or loss?
If it's going to be a win, it's going to be one that we squeak out.
It's Seahawks, Giants, Cowboys. Is that the next three?
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah. Seahawks, Giants, Cowboys.
Cowboys on Thanksgiving. They're going to ruin our Thanksgiving. I can feel it.
Daniel Jones, torn ACL.
I don't cheer for injuries. It was tough to see him go down like that, though. Those non-contact. It was the same thing with Kirk a couple weeks ago. And I enjoyed the hold on, but we'll pivot back to this in a second. LP, what's your early tingle on the game? You got the Commanders winning or losing in Seattle?
I mean 9-1 in November. I think they're going to win.
Wow,
I think they win.
It's gonna be dependent. It's gonna be one of those games where Joey Sly wins it for us or loses it for us. It's gonna be that type of game.
I want to fire him into the sun. No, thank you. No, thank you. He stinks.
He hasn't been that bad this year.
Stole a ball from his front yard, though.
The guy that they cut him for was also not that bad, and now he's gonna go on to have a freaking Hall of Fame career.
What did Sly kicked a 61-yarder 2 weeks ago?
He could kick it. He could kick it 100 yards. I will never clap for him. Yeah, no.
Speaking of kicking, did you guys see the running back in the Texans game who kicked the field goal to win?
Yes, first time it's happened since Welker in 2005, I think.
I love seeing that. That's so awesome.
Why not? I do want to talk about the Vikings game. I don't know if you guys are caught up on highlights and stuff, but I want to talk specifically about Josh Dobbs, right? Like he's
amazing.
I don't understand what happens. I also don't know why he doesn't have eyebrows, right? And
he has alopecia.
And okay, so another thing I do not recommend people doing is going into Vikings Twitter this morning because it's all people just shaving their eyebrows.
I saw the viral.
There's a lot of just people shaving eyebrows this morning in solidarity or stand with Joshua Dobbs. So let's talk about the Vikings here. They were dead in the water. They started off terribly. And the narrative coming in this year was, hey, they won a whole bunch of games last year by 1, 2 to 3 points, whatever it is. They can't keep that trend. And obviously they started very rough out of the gate. The last couple of weeks, they lose Kirk, obviously, to an Achilles injury. He's done for the season. Even if he's a freak like Aaron Rodgers, he's not going to be back in time to help them. It's just too late in the season. I believe Cam Akers also went down yesterday, retore an Achilles. So they're hurting at different positions. But you look at they traded for Josh Dobbs at the deadline on 10/31, right? Tuesday. He has limited familiarity with O'Connell from the various Jay Gruden, Shanahan, DC war rooms of past. So he had an idea of the concepts, but didn't understand the full playbook. And they told him, don't cram the playbook. Cram the game plan. And by the end of the first quarter or second quarter, whatever it was yesterday, Dobbs gets his number called and he goes into the game. He rips off at least 2 or 3 different very, very good runs and then obviously leads them to a win. Dobbs was unemployed going into the season. Arizona cut their starter, pulled him in from bagging groceries and said, "You're going to be our starter." And he did not play poorly for Arizona. Arizona then shops their starting quarterback. When was the last time you saw a starting quarterback get traded at the trade deadline? And they send him to the Vikings. The Vikings call his number and they win the game. It's a phenomenal story. It's completely bananas and unsustainable. I don't know what kind of deal with the devil this guy made, but
He's
eyebrows are not.
just
I don't get it.
freakishly intelligent. I mean,
He would be on a
he majored in like aerospace engineering. Like he is, by all counts and measures, highly intelligent. Plus, he has the mobility and the physical talent and the skill set to go along with it. And then when you're learning different playbooks, different offenses, it all comes down to terminology, right? So if he can figure out terminology quickly, right? And if he has KOC, he had KOC in his headset just explaining concepts to him of
cadence.
what the
He
play
had
was.
him. He had him on.
He was practicing cadence on
they
the
were counting
sideline.
cadence in the side, like during, like yeah. O'Connell basically said, "I cannot pay attention to the defense right now. I need to work with my quarterback."
Yeah.
And they were literally on the sideline just working on count and cadence, which is crazy. And the flip side of that, LP, I'll bring you in here. I'm sorry, I don't mean to you're just kind of staring at me. I know you want to get in on this. Arthur Smith, like if there's a worse coach than Ron Rivera, it's got to be Arthur Smith. I like the whole like Top Gun look, right? I'm all in. We talked about that in the weeks past. You can't lose to a team that doesn't have its starting running back, quarterback, stud wide receiver. I think they were missing 2 defensive players, and they literally are playing a quarterback that they just traded for, and they are so leaky everywhere. Bijan Robinson, it's too soon to say bust, but fantasy bust for sure. But I don't understand. Like that team doesn't have any identity. It was weird to see Taylor, your boy Heineke, come out there and do some stuff, right? And he's still doing lots of YOLO balls, lots of just slinging it. I was going to say Gus Farad, Brett Favre style. But I don't know how Arthur Smith is still employed this morning. Like they've got to do something there. But that game was wild, and both of those teams are going to be in the playoff hunt come, let's say, 4 or 5 weeks from now. And you seem to be really hot on the Commanders. Are the Commanders better than both of these teams?
Yes. I don't know how that's a question. Arthur Smith is,
they're better. Maybe
he's horrible.
Okay.
Bijan, yeah. Bijan's not. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think under Arthur Smith, he'll be a bust.
Not being utilized. Yeah.
Same with Drake London. Same with Kyle Pitts. Arthur Smith is
Kyle Pitts is a bust. He's done.
So let's see what happens after Arthur Smith leaves.
Yeah, I feel like if Kyle Pitts was on this team, he would be great. He'd be better than Logan, and probably
he would be.
He probably would be under an EB offense, probably.
Your potential wild card teams here, right? That those last couple spots are you're thinking. I'm thinking Seahawks, Vikings, Falcons, Buccaneers. I know the Buccaneers are maybe the best 3 and 5 team I've like. They're actually really good. I don't know. Like their record.
It'll be Cowboys and Seahawks probably as 7 and 8, right? Or the 6 and 7.
I'm assuming the Cowboys will make it, right? They're 5 and 3, but they tough loss for them yesterday. But assume the Cowboys do make it, it's going to be like the Rams are 3 and 6. I'm looking at Seahawks at 5 and 3, Vikings 5 and 4, although I think that's fraudulent. Packers are 3 and 5. Forget about the Bears. The Falcons are 4 and 5. The Bucks are 3 and 5. Assuming the Saints will win that division. So like the NFC outside of the Eagles, and maybe the 49ers, and the Lions, they don't look like tremendous. But that's why like the Vikings, I was watching that yesterday thinking like it's going to come down to Commanders or Vikings for that last playoff spot. And they're doing it without their starting quarterback, running back, and I don't know when Justin's back, if he's coming back at all. So
he can come back soon, yeah. What hurts is, and this conversation is painful because it's that freaking Bears game and the Giants game that's going to ruin everything for us because
let's do the quick math on that, FP. If they flip those games, they're sitting here at what? 6 and 3?
Yeah.
6 and 3.
You're probably easily
and if you
very comfortably
that'll be the second best record in the NFC.
Stupid Eagles. You're not 6 and 3, you're 7 and 2.
Yeah. Very comfortably, yeah.
I'm pissed.
Yeah. I mean, but the Bears just swiped the floor with us, so we could say we should have beaten them. Wasn't close.
Well, the Bears are clearly playing for next season, right? They went ahead. I mean, the trade. I know you guys didn't like the trade, but I like it from the Bears.
I didn't dislike the trade.
I like what the
thought
Bears did. The Bears
I
gave up the second round. They
thought
got
it
a
was
guy and they
insane how
extended him.
much Sweat got paid.
I see, and you and I disagree on that. I think they paid a guy at a position where they won't need to address it in the draft. They can spend their very high first round draft picks, the one they have and the one from the Panthers, on offense if they so choose. They got a defensive end for the long run. They've extended him. I mean, I think it's a great move for the Bears. Like, if you're a Bears fan, I think you like that move. Sweat doesn't miss games. He's not a me guy. Like,
The money came because the Bears traded a high second draft pick, and Sweat was 1 year left, right? So like,
yeah. So
he was holding a gun to their head. They had to
like
make
it
it
at
worth his
100
while
million.
to stay.
What number would you have liked it at?
I don't know.
85.
It's just he's not Bosa and TJ Watt level. He's not. He's never had double digit sacks. Like, he's just not at that level to command that money.
So you guys may have heard me clicking away on my keyboard. What was I doing?
Yes, loudest keyboard.
Khalil Mack, 6 years, 141 million. Okay, so remember the Bears traded Khalil Mack like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so they replaced him with Sweat, who's honestly not making that much less than Mack. I mean, if you look at the cap hits,
I mean, I think it's good. If I'm the Bears,
they're dumb.
I'm the Bears. No, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I don't mind it.
They got forced into paying to make sure that he's not a 9 game.
Nobody forced them. They didn't have to trade for him. Right?
No, I mean,
they didn't want to spend a draft pick on an unproven defensive player. So they look around, they say, hey, we can get this guy for a second round pick. We can lock him up and not have to think about this position for the next 4 years. That's a good move.
Yeah, they overpaid.
It's the kind of foresight you would want the Commanders to have at certain positions instead of always ending up in.
I would be furious if the Commanders.
Khalil Mack is making 21 million this year, right?
If the Commanders,
Sweat's going to be on an average of 22 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
if the Commanders go out and they get a free a trade or a free agent, and they give him premier money for somebody that we traded away. We've done that before. I don't want to do that.
You know what I want the Commanders to do? I want them to reassemble the line, that offensive line that was here when Ron came. Hey guys, sorry, Brandon Sheriff, please. We're so sorry that we had this numbnuts come in and run the team. We'd like you to come back, please. We'll pay you whatever you want.
Sheriff was never going to stay. Trent was never going to stay. The problem is the guys that were playing well. Ron still messed with those positions and moved.
Well, then he was now
buried him.
And like you said, he was too stubborn to make the changes that were necessary. But this is the best the offensive line has looked now for 2 weeks in a row against good defense.
Two top 10 defenses.
But what's annoying is this is happening again, right? This happened last year when Trey Turner and whatever the other numbnuts got injured, right? And then we made a change on the offensive line because Ron was forced to, and they started playing better. Tyler Larson came in. They started playing better. It's deja vu with Ron. It's deja vu.
That's your guy. Well, he's not my guy. He's your guy. All right, I want to go around the league here. I'm going to go top 5, low 5. Tell me if you disagree. My low 5 is unchanged from last week. Okay, I got Panthers as the bottom. Patriots, Broncos, Giants, Bears. Kind of basically the same.
Where's the Cardinals?
Position. No, I think the Cardinals are the best crappy team I've ever seen.
Not without Dobbs.
Maybe not without Dobbs. Fine. I'll move the Bears up one. And so the Cardinals are one spot below, I guess, the Bears. I got the Commanders in the 16 to 18 range as well. You guys, anyone else you want to put in that in the bottom 5 LP? Cardinals a good pull, but I still think they can beat. Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see now that they don't have a quarterback. I mean, the Patriots are 2-7, the Broncos 3.
The Giants are going to be awful for the rest of the year. They may be in the running for that number 1 pick.
Well, they'll have at least one victory over us. So
the question that would be so interesting, because did they go and they get like a Caleb Williams or something? Did they paid all the money for DJ and then just like never mind?
I mean, it's an ACL. Let's say an average of a year. That puts him at the middle of next season. He only signed a 2-year contract. It makes no sense. Like he's done for the contract.
I think he'll be available within a week or two,
and then he'll get injured again.
That's fine. But Caleb Williams is an interesting one because I know people are killing him because he hugged his mom and was crying.
Yeah.
But Maybe I'm in the minority. I don't mind that so much. Like I don't know if I care, but
I mean, first of all, USC sucks. They have a commander's
overhyped.
problem, right? No, they have a commander's problem wherein they have a defensive coordinator that I believe got replaced today, who is hot garbage, and they couldn't keep anybody from scoring on them. So even though Caleb Williams was playing great football, they're losing, and Caleb Williams is crying out of frustration. It's just that's what that's coming from. I mean, he's literally out there bawling. He's a good player. He'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know if he's number one overall, but a lot of people.
That's why he's crying every time one of these losses happens.
He should shut it down.
He's losing millions and millions of dollars every time a loss happens
Yes.
because he's moving down in the draft.
Yes. All right, I want to switch gears. Let's go top 5 here. Go ahead, LP. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he'll bounce back, right? And come off season, a lot of the stuff is gonna be forgotten. QB is the most important thing. He's a generational talent. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, well, look. I mean, look at your boy down in look at your boy down in playing for the Texans, right? Who had him? I mean, it's unreal what he's doing. Unreal.
Yeah.
Right, and nobody had him in the top 5 quarterbacks coming out or whatever. I mean, he looked great.
I mean, look at our backyard. Sam Howell was a 5th-round pick.
You know, I mean, honestly,
let's be honest.
That's the biggest win over the last couple of weeks is no one refers to Howell as a 5th-round pick anymore.
Can we talk about how the Redskins are maybe the only franchise out there that have found 2 legitimate starting quarterbacks in late rounds in Kirk and Sam Howell? It's like a skill set of the team that we find legitimate QBs late in drafts.
We'll let them walk too.
I mean, I gotta go. I'm gonna have to go through the mental Rolodex here to see if that's we're the only team to pull late round starting quarterbacks.
I mean, outside of the Patriots and Tom Brady, find me a 4th or I guess, yeah.
Okay, that's
4th or later.
Dak and Romo, Dallas.
It's actually wild when you think Romo's only been out of the league for like 5 years.
Has it?
4 years.
Only been out?
Actually, what we need to have is a conversation LP and I were having yesterday about where Dak lands as far as QB ranking and elite or not, and where Kirk lands. Because I was saying Kirk is upper echelon when he was in, and Dak is not. Dak is out of the top 8 QBs, out of the top 10 maybe.
I would take Kirk 10 times out of 10 over Dak.
100%.
Any game
literally proven yesterday.
Any team. Yes.
That final series, a lot of that was on Dak.
Dak has evolved a lot since his really bad injury, where he's not as mobile and can't run as much as in the past. But Dak has also gotten it done with, like, the Cowboys are always overhyped from a talent perspective, in my opinion. Like, CeeDee Lamb is a legit number 1. They don't have anyone else there. Dak is still getting his numbers, right? Ferguson is a serviceable tight end. He's making him look like an all pro. So I think Dak has done that consistently. Even if you look back at the Amari Cooper led receiver corps,
Dak just has so many boneheaded moves that cost them games.
But he also had to distribute. He also, like, I think you can judge him more after this season, where there's no Zeke making his stupid feed me nonsense. By the way, for a guy who nobody cares about, to still you ask me why I'm an old curmudgeon and the peacocking bothers me so much. It's because of Zeke Elliott. Okay, that guy needs to shut up.
Did he do that at all yesterday?
I was waiting for it to be. I was pre-upset. I was preemptively upset and annoyed by it. I mean, thankfully, I didn't have to look at it. But it's
because it ruined your Thanksgiving one year and you never got over.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Top 5 teams.
He sucks. He's fallen off so hard.
I got the Eagles clear cut as number 1. I'm moving the Ravens to number 2. I really, really like what Harbaugh and company are doing there. Ravens.
You got to flip it.
I'm begrudgingly putting the Chiefs in 3 because I still think they're a one-trick pony and they don't play very good defense, but they keep winning, and it's hard to take that away from them. So I got the Chiefs at 3. I've got a tie at 4. I got Lions just slightly above Dolphins. And Dolphins, no. I know Dolphins have lost now some big games to some good teams.
Tua looks like doo-doo when he's facing a QB over 500 or a team over 500.
You were making faces at me with the Lions. I still think the Lions.
I like the Lions at 5. Again, the biggest sleeper team right now is the Jacksonville Jaguars. 6-2.
I got the Jags at 5. And I almost wanted to drop the Dolphins out completely and put
Yes,
the Bengals
agreed.
in, because I
No.
think Joe
Not yet for the
Cool is
Bengals.
rolling.
Not
Yeah.
yet for the Bengals.
They're the hottest team right now. I love what the Bengals are doing.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars are built better for the long term than the Bengals are. I first of all, I would put Ravens over Eagles. Eagles are suspect. They barely beat the Commanders. They squeaked one by on the Cowboys. They're a great team, but they're not. I don't think their bye week is coming at the perfect time, but I don't think they're the best team in the league right now. Honestly, I think you're giving that to the Ravens, because while the Eagles are getting their wins, it's close in score to a lot of these teams. The Ravens, they're taking teams that were like, oh, the Lions are really great, curb stomped them. Oh, the Seahawks are a pretty strong team, great defense, curb stomped them. Like, they are just shutting down really good teams
I still
in embarrassingly large
Ravens.
margins.
Listen, the Ravens, the AFC North is clear cut the best division of football, right? I mean, the Ravens are 7-2. The Steelers somehow are 5-3. The Browns somehow are 5-3, and then the Bengals are 5-3. The whole division is over 500, and the Bengals have won 4 in a row. I think you have to take a really good look at whatever like if they could just start a little bit faster. It's the Ron syndrome here.
Yeah.
We have here, right? They start out so slow out of the gate that they're always playing catch up, but they've won 4 in a row, and they look good doing it, and they're beating real teams as well, right? They're not just beating up on the scrubs of the league, including the Bills yesterday. So, like, I think the Bengals deserve a nod there. The Ravens, what they're as good as their defense is, it feels leaky at times, depending on the opponent. But there's just a feeling, because they haven't actually played that way. And like you said, I give them credit. I mean, they went into Seattle, and that game didn't even get on the red zone. Like, it was like nobody was flipping over to find that game. It's got to be. I mean,
37-3 against the Seahawks. Keep that in mind when we play the Seahawks.
Well, they made Geno look like Geno.
Yeah, I mean, 38-6 over the Lions. We just said the Lions are a top 5 team. 38-6.
Well, and the AFC is going to get tighter, I think, as we get closer and closer to playoffs. I mean, the Colts, they have no business being 4-5, in my opinion. They're 4-5. The Raiders, and we got to talk about this for a second. Antonio Pierce taking over. I don't think I had him in the top 10 as far as available head coaching candidates. And truthfully, I don't think Davis had him either. I think he knew he wanted to fire Josh. I don't think he knew he was going to hire Antonio Pierce to be the head coach. But apparently, you guys follow this story where McDaniels called for like a team meeting.
Yeah.
He said, hey, everything's on the table. You can vent about anything you want.
They crushed him in it.
Crushed him. And he was all in his feelings and upset about it. I mean, did you?
Yeah.
This is wild. Like, if you call for it, like, you got to, like, apparently he was so distraught. Like, he wasn't game planning. He wasn't doing anything. And part of it was Antonio Pierce basically telling the locker room, like, the difference between their locker room now and his locker room on the Giants circa 2007 was that, like, even though they were not performing, the box score showed that they were losing games, they believed they could win and beat anyone, including the then undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl. And McDaniels, apparently, you see this? McDaniels apparently told him, he pulled him aside and said, don't ever talk about the Patriots like that. Like, what? What is that? What is that?
I don't understand how McDaniels gets a job.
He's gonna go right back to. He's gonna go like my worst nightmare.
Actually, LP had a great take the other day. He was what was it? The Jeff Saturday.
But it was
comparison.
great.
The Jeff Saturday comparison.
No, I was just saying that Jeff Saturday gets the job, and everyone is all up in arms that he wasn't qualified. Antonio Pierce, pretty much the same situation, gets the job.
Completely unqualified. Like,
lots of praise.
Yeah. High praise for one.
But I just have to say this out loud so that you can walk me off the ledge in the coming weeks. McDaniels will return to the Patriots.
If they come here to Washington, I'm done.
And somehow the narrative, your boy Florio, who I don't know how is he still in bed. How does Florio have a radio show and we can't get syndicated? Like, I don't understand what's happening. Syndicated, right? But I mean, we used to have syndication, but that's for another time. My worst fear is that it's some combination of the Billy B package, which includes Matt Patricia running the defense and McDaniels calling the offense and Bill Belichick coming in and doing his best Ron impression on the sidelines, hands crossed in a cutoff Commanders sweatshirt. I can't have it. Please, that will be the end for me. I just can't have it.
I agree.
That would be the end.
To play devil's advocate. Let me play devil's advocate.
No.
Let me play devil's advocate. Is Matt Patricia leading that defense a drop off from JDR? No.
Yes.
No.
They're horrible. Stop.
Matt Patricia as a DC is better than Matt Patricia as an offense.
He might be better, but it's the package. I don't want the package. I can't.
I'm in full agreement with you.
I can't go from a coach who doesn't have a filter on his mouth and says stupid stuff every week, it seems, to a coach who never says anything about anything.
I will say the Bill Belichick way of handling the media is exactly what the DC media needs, though.
Well, it's what Ron needed 4 years ago when he woke up and realized, the DC media very different than the Charlotte media scene, right? Where everybody's going to the diner after the games and just hanging out with a short stack of pancakes. No, we may not be New York, but we're not Charlotte either. No.
I don't want the BB package either.
No, I can't have it.
That'll be the one move that's actually worse than what we have right now. Keeping Ron and EB and JDR, it would be a better move than bringing the Bill Belichick.
I don't want McDaniels anywhere near the team. I don't want Belichick. I don't want any retreads.
McDaniels shouldn't even have a OC opportunity.
He's
anymore.
ruined
he's
franchises. Done. Ironically, both in the same division. He ruined the Broncos, and then he ruined the Raiders.
It's true.
Right?
I want Lou Anarumo, the DC for the Bengals. That's who I want.
No, I want one of.
No,
I want somebody
DC.
who knows DC. I want a DC.
What do you mean no DC? Robert Saleh is a DC. That team's doing great.
No.
D'Amico Ryans is a DC.
I want somebody.
He's doing great as a head coach.
DC. I want somebody who's been in Washington DC before.
What? Why?
Because they all succeed because they're all winning. Kevin O'Connell, winner. Josh McDaniels. No, not Josh McDaniels. What's
Mike McDaniels?
Mike McDaniels, winner.
You want one of those guys to come back?
Winner.
That's never going to happen.
Winner. Shanahan, winner.
LaFleur will probably be available.
What has he done without Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, he doesn't. He's not the GM. I want a team president, a GM, and a head coach.
Great.
3 individual roles with different responsibilities.
Listen,
I want to trade. I want to trade. Where can we trade Ron and JDR? This is the question, right? Let's build a package. Let's build a package and let's trade Ron and JDR to what do you got? Where can we send them?
The UFL.
Why would anybody take them?
Maybe Arizona would take them.
No.
Arizona just hired a coach.
Broncos. Maybe the Broncos would take them. We'll trade for for Sean Payton.
You really want Sean Payton? And the team that gave up 70 points in a game?
No, I don't want Sean Payton.
So that's the concerning part to me, right? There was a report
Mark Epke's words, the defensive coordinator for the Bengals. He comes here. You retain EB for a second year.
We had a good run with a former Bengals coordinator once upon a time. So
true.
You
guys crushed him and crushed me for liking him.
Jay Gruden?
Jay Gruden, the coordinator, was great.
Jay
Gruden, the head coach, was an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we slightly disagree on the top 5. I want to put a bow on that too. Well, I mean, tonight's game really has no impact on the bottom or the top of the league.
Where do you guys have the Niners?
Jets get a win.
I think the Niners are going to have to prove it. I mean, they're on a little bit of a slide here. I think they are, I don't know, 5 or 6 maybe.
They're comfortably in the 5 to 10 range, yeah.
5 to 10. I mean, I think they're better than that, but they've lost 3 in a row. So I think
they've lost 3 in a row.
They've got
on bye week.
And Purdy has to show that he's closer to a legit quarterback than he is to a guy in his 10th game or whatever it is. I think
catching up to him, yeah.
Yeah, and frankly, I mean they're not a lock to win the NFC West. I mean, I think they're going to have to. The Seahawks will challenge them, and I think the Seahawks are looking at the Commanders and saying, "Hey, we can beat this team and move within half a game."
It's a good thing they added a blue chip edge rusher for basically free.
I mean, I like the move for them. I don't know if they'll extend Chase before he actually shows it, but
even if they don't, it was a nothing. It was a no sum move. They got a compensatory pick, gave it to us. They lose nothing.
And apparently Trent made some calls to some friendlies in DC before apparently, Shanny asked if this would be a reasonable move, and obviously they have ties here. Trent made some calls and said, "Yeah, like he's just not working hard."
Well, there's also other rumors that like Chase wasn't happy here, and you
He had
listen
his
to
dad calling in the radio shows.
Yeah,
and
well, you listen to what John Allen kind of his pregame speech yesterday, where he's clapping 100 times, sacrificing yourself, and if everybody does it and everybody buys it, like it's really weird that is the week that Jonathan Allen is coming out and saying all that stuff. I mean, apparently they both of Sweat and Chase were big personalities in the locker room, but now the locker room seems happier according to the beat reporters. I don't know if any of it's true, if it's just the team painting a certain picture, but if he truly wasn't happy here and he wasn't being used right, good riddance.
I think this week's game against the Seahawks on Sunday will prove just how valuable or invaluable the Chase in particular was to the defense, right? Because I think again, like the Seahawks, they didn't play well against the Ravens, but they've got legit wide receiving options, right? Tyler Lockett may not be the fastest guy, but he's a hands guy. He will get open and he will catch the ball and fall over. And if you give him enough space, he'll burn you. DK Metcalf, if I agree with you, FP. If it's Forbes 1-on-1, then I expect DK Metcalf start him in all fantasy formats because he's gonna get 50.
Take the over on any bet you can.
Absolutely. But they can also run the ball, and I think this is where it's going to be scariest, right? Gino's not the most mobile, but he can get 4 or 5 yards at a time, and they've got multiple no-name running backs that can burn you.
Yeah, I mean Kenneth Walker's having a solid year.
Yeah, I think this will be a true test, and if they can pull this win out, I think they're going to be in better shape. But there's 2 things I wanted to get back to before we put a bow on the show here. Any other NFL topics? Because I'm going to switch gears here for a second. FP, LP?
Switch.
I want to talk about Wemby for 10 seconds. Is he the greatest? Is he going to be the greatest player we've ever seen?
I actually haven't seen him play once yet.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Even I've watched.
My
God. The NBA is getting harder. You got to
get on YouTube and watch
the courts games and the colors and the tournament.
He is
the Wizards being so awful.
Last week there was a matchup between the Suns, between Wemby and Durant in particular. When these guys, like any picture you see online of them two like in the frame, they look like aliens. They look like dinosaurs squaring off to like. It's crazy how like what they like their size and dimensions are bananas.
But can he play a full season?
We're gonna find out.
Think so.
We're gonna find out.
I don't think he'll be able to.
I'm fascinated right now, FP, by his. Have you seen his warm up video where he goes onto the court with his hands and his toes? By the way, toes are like 6 feet long, but his hands and toes, and he does these like agility drills where he looks. I mean, he looks like a camel. I don't know how else to describe it. You got to watch it. But LP, that's your homework for the week. You got to watch at least some Wemby highlights. We can get into the NBA next week. And then the last thing is staying on the basketball topic. Clay Travis. Are you guys following this Clay Travis bit from last week? The Aces won the WNBA championship, yada, yada, a couple weeks back. And Clay went out there and said, hey, like, I don't care, but congrats, but I don't care. Like, stop forcing this product on me. Nobody cares. Like, even the parents of the women playing in the league, or the person, sorry, not women, the person's playing in the league, they don't care either. Okay, so there were some shots fired both ways, and then Clay put up $1 million and said, let me pick a team out of, let me pick a random high school team out of anywhere in America, basically a state championship level team. They would crush the Aces in a series or in a one-off game. I 100% agree with Clay Travis. 100%. Yep. And if it's for charity, I don't know what the negative would be to actually having a game like that play out. What am I missing here? What am I missing? Why not do it?
It destroys the WNBA more than it's already destroyed.
Yeah, the WNBA players wouldn't want to do it.
Well, if they win, then they can. Then their ad campaign of like "we're better than you" is legitimate.
No, they're better than high schoolers.
Okay.
You have to think about it. Clay went down to the high school level for this challenge,
and I think
because nobody is denying
a
college team not being able to do
D2
it.
or D3 team would roll.
I mean, for him to put up $1 million, I mean, that's not
nothing.
That's putting money where your mouth is.
Yeah. I mean, maybe in a series the WNBA team gets one game off of, maybe. But I mean, have you seen these AAU teams or these high school teams? These boys.
They're ridiculous. They're
Yeah.
They're
And
physical freaks.
they would have to play on an NBA, like on a WNBA court, like where the court is shorter and the ball is smaller. The boys might win by 50. Like
I mean, yeah, if you give them what
I forgot that the ball is smaller.
Gonzaga or
and the court is
Potomac,
shorter.
Potomac, Gonzaga, some just the DC schools alone.
DeMatha.
Flint Hill, DeMatha, they're all playing amazing.
DC Catholic School League All Stars probably beat the Aces.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic exchange back and forth on X, but
they won't take it. They're not going to.
No, they won't take it. There was also some. I mean, listen, the internet's a wild place. You got people trading draft picks for opportunities to have sex with each other's wives within the fantasy league. That was making
you take the bet. You take the wife.
No, I can't do it.
You take the wife.
Can't do
all
it.
day.
There's no way. We're not going to name.
It's so fake. It's so fake.
Of course, it's fake. But
we had someone in our offline chat. I would have never expected to chime in, come in off the rafters, drop the flying elbow, saying, "You got to take the bet. You got to take the bet." I can't.
I'm telling you, if it's a woman, first of all, the script was you trade CMC for Pollard.
Yeah.
And you get to sleep with the dude's wife.
Yes.
That's you take it 100 out of 100 times.
Oh, I think
no.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
If you are already fantasizing about the wife, 100 out of 100.
Now you're adding to it.
He said in the tweet.
You guys are dissecting a false
I think
tweet.
You're a little too into it, FP. I think there's probably a Reddit thread or somewhere for you to maybe live this out a little bit more. I just can't see anybody actually. I can't see it. I can't see it. Fantasy football, like I can argue either side of it. I'm going to choose not to, but I think that's why some of the comments in our offline chat just completely caught me by surprise. Like you can always draft McCaffrey next year, right? Like you can always get
at the end of the day.
There's always another season.
if you're prioritizing real life experiences with fantasy football, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's a good point.
Okay.
But anyways, it's fake. It's fake.
Yes, we know it's fake, LP. God. Nobody's arguing the validity of it.
This is we went too long for him. He's falling asleep. That's it. He's killing the bit. He's got to go.
Yeah, all right.
All right, FP, thank you for making time. LP, thank you for making time as well. It was good. Commanders improved to 4-5. The march to the playoffs and the sixth year of Ron continues. So we'll see how that plays out. If you want to find any of our backlog shows, they are all over the internet. So just search DTC on any social media platform or any podcast platform. Thank you for hanging out with us. We will likely do a second show this week. Stay tuned for that. In the meantime, LP's got some homework to watch some WNBA basketball. FP, maybe check out a Champions League game here or there if you don't mind. Stevie wants to come on with Matt the Met to close out the baseball season, talk about the Rangers and what the Nats need to do to be competitive next year. So it should be a good week or week and a half for us. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been DTC Defeating the Curse. Thanks again. See you soon.